Welcome back. Now we're still on E15 and we left off talking about the Niger State drama. Now, there's an injunction already on the gotten by the Deputy Governor that the House of Assembly should not commence any impeachment proceedings. It is the responsibility, the duty of the House of Assembly to do such things. Can the court really stop them from carrying out their function?
No, at best, maybe it can slow them down. Because if they are bent on impeaching him, they will go ahead. They will go ahead, get a court to vacate the injunction. You know, they will get another court to vacate the injunction and they will proceed with it. But I think the servant leader, as the governor of Niger State likes to be addressed, is much more interested in keeping him at bay, keeping him at arm's length, keeping him away from the ESCO meetings, where he could be privy to the tactics and strategies of the PDP as they plan towards the election. Because he stated, he said, look, he should know that he's like a mole amongst us now. You know, and a mole will not be wanted within our ranks. So what they want to do is they want to keep him away. They don't want him to mingle with them anymore, because they know if he has shown clearly that he's not one of them anymore, and they have to be careful. The governor said Ibeto, that he has Ibeto on record, you know, describing him as a thief and all that. And Ibeto said, no. There's nowhere that I've addressed you as a thief. What made me to leave the party is the injustice that happened. And I know for a fact that he tried to get the national headquarters of the PDP to take a second look at the primaries, at the governorship primaries of the party in Niger State, with a view to securing justice. But as you and I know, all of those who sought justice through the so-called appeals committee that the PDP set up,
the committee never sat.
After the primaries of the party, not one person got justice. And that's why today, at least 18 governorship candidates of the APC are people who defected from the PDP.
Bad sign. Now, just about, let me say about 40 days to the governorship election, do you think it would be in the best interest of Niger State to commence an impeachment proceeding against the deputy governor?
That question will best be answered by gauging what is really at stake. Because like I said, in realpolitik, it is pure and blatant naked interest. When the governor chose to go for NASCO, I believe he would have calculated or foreseen or forecast the merit and demerits, and whatever collateral damage that he would have to brook in the process. Again, for Deputy Governor Ibeto, he too would have calculated the political risk in defecting, because quite frankly, you can't have two masters in one ship. Anybody who is in the APC in Niger State will inevitably, in a sense, look at the Deputy Governor as his party leader in the state, because the point is that the chief executive of any state, for instance, Jonathan is the leader of the PDP in Nigeria. So that perception is there. And just like as Jide said here, the governor feels that he's a mole now, so he can't continue to to keep him there. But the point is, if Ibeto's actions and inactions are going to in any way bring about substantial damage, the Commissioner for Information was saying that Ibeto's defection is a non-issue, it can be overlooked, but if eventually his influence continues to grow, then we even be looking beyond impeachment. It could be anything.
Yes.
It could be anything. But as far as getting him out of the way, we'll give them what they want. Our politicians have shown us time and again that they're capable of anything.
And I think even if I were to be in that position, I would not have confidence in my deputy.
Even on just today, the House of Assembly in Ebonyi State served impeachment notice on the governor, Martin Elechi.
Okay. That is in Ebonyi State.
Yes, they served impeachment notice on the governor. Which is another, the crisis also arose out of the of the acrimonious primaries of the PDP, because the governor wanted a different candidate, but the secretary of the government of the federation, you know, who is also from that state, IMPEACHMENT, imposed a different person on the governor. The governor first slighted, you know, and since then, the center has really not held in Ebonyi.
And quite frankly, you know, sure, one issue that, because it doesn't really affect us directly, we tend to overlook it. Look at any research work in any every 2 hours, go through our textbooks, look at any research material that you want to look at. They will always tell you that the fundamental issues that our parties have, after the issue of lack of ideology, it is always the lack of internal democracy. You know, because, I mean, I was doing research into the viability of national parties in Nigeria. It is always very difficult. What has sustained national parties in Nigeria from the Second Republic till now is plain corruption. That was what oiled the wheels of the NPN in 79 to 83. That is what has always oiled the wheel of the PDP too, corruption. So the question I'm asking is, if you have a party in a particular geopolitical zone, and they can be seen to have a particular leader like Obafemi Awolowo did for the AG and for the UPN, and they call all, you know, and they could all rally around him, and his influence was enough to keep the UPN together even after the, you know, the crisis between Alayonde and Bola Ige. You know, then the party, you know, could still stay together. It was in a region. You could look at the NPP too. Zik was there for the, you know, but once we cross the border from our region, it is difficult to have one particular leader to, you know, to provide that large and broad-based inspiration for the whole nation.
It might not even be good for the system.
And that is why it, you know, whoever comes from, like for instance, if I have the you know, the financial machinery from a particular state, I want to have my people occupy the echelon of the party. Let me say I want 60% of my people to be in the ESCO. With that, I can adjust the party structure and tell them to plant anybody they want to. So that is the bane.
Manipulations. Manipulations.
Sure. So the lack of internal democracy will make them differ from one party to the other. They go there. They're not.
Let me just quickly break this in before I move into the next issue. The election is just around the corner. You just talked about the impeachment notice served on the governor in Ebonyi State. Yes. There's crisis in Niger State, and I guess there are other states like that you have crisis that we've not really had.
Yes.
Between PDP and APC, how do you think it will play out for these parties?
Now, let me tell you what is about to happen in Ebonyi State. You know, had been foretold, because the governor is hungry. The governor has been scorned. Naturally, you expect a fight back. So they don't want this governor to preside over the state
during
the election, because he will use state machinery. You know, it's been rumored that he has even joined the Labour Party, but that's not official yet. But Labour Party is already having some visibility in the state, visibility that they didn't have prior to now. So they have every reason to suspect that the governor is the one oiling the machine of the Labour Party in the state. And they are terrified now, with just a few weeks to the election, that if this man is allowed to remain there as the sitting governor, he may make life difficult for the PDP.